We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Howdy.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from amazing Phoenix, Arizona.
Today, Jill and I talk about how it's Jill Friday. Well, she's going to talk, and she's going to let us know how to turn a dead deal, into a successfully completed one.
It'd be funny that we should each share how you would do it and how I would do it.
Perfect. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free. And join us on Discord if you're already a Land Academy member.
Sandy wrote, I've listened to the podcast this morning about how Jill talks to sellers in order to find common ground. I loved her examples. Does anyone know I can get more info like this? I would love to have a number of things to practice that would help me connect with a seller. Oh, I have a few things right now. Number one, out of the gate, ask how they are. People don't do that. How are you today? Every time I'm calling somewhere, whether it's a title company, a bank, internet provider, I'm totally serious on this. I try to get them right on my team by being nice to them, by offering up like a little something like, how are you? How's your day going? Wow, that was a long whole time. And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm saying like, whew, you guys are slammed. How are you hanging in there? And I'll even say, take a second, catch a breath. You have coffee there, take a drink. They'll be like, oh, thank you. No one cares enough to even say that. So automatically, I'm being nice and helpful and I have them on my team. And now and then they're ready to go, well, how can I help you? And then I say, my cable doesn't work or whatever it is. There you go.
Some of the best advice I've ever gotten was from a bartender many years ago, 20 plus years ago. And he said, meet people from where they're coming. Mm-hmm. That's it. And he said specifically children. You're not going to meet a 2-year-old. You're not going to treat a 2-year-old the way that you're going to treat a 6-year-old mm-hmm. or a 16-year-old. They're completely different people. And you need to meet everybody mm-hmm. from where they're coming, and it's going to go a lot better.
You have to take a step back and think about exactly where they're coming from. People in New York just live differently, talk differently, communicate differently, different speeds, different volumes than somebody from the deep South, and you have to kind of do your best to mirror them without not belittling and not condescending. But if you're talking to a sweet little old lady from somewhere in, a dreamy part of Georgia, I don't know, you're going to take a step back and calm down and think she's sitting right now drinking her tea, opening her mail and calling me. I need to be that person she wants to talk to mm-hmm. and answer all her questions and get this deal done and make it easy and understandable for her.
You're trying to get a deal done here. This is mm-hmm. kind of the topic. Let's get into the topic.
Okay.
Today's Jill Friday. How to turn a dead deal, into a successfully completed one. This is the meat of the show.
So by dead deal, we don't necessarily mean that you kicked it to the curb or they, told you whatever and you're calling them back, talking them into anything. Which you could do those happens, but...
A lot of scenarios here.
Not talking anybody into anything.
Back to what the question was today, there are people that track the prices of everything. I'm one of those people. I know what all my stuff's worth. I just do. It's my background. But very, very many people don't care. They just inherited property. So it's our job to kind of deconstruct that really quickly on the phone with somebody and see if they're one of these people that they know their property's retail, $100,000. You just sent them an offer for $15,000 and they're going to let you have it. They're insulted. So you have to meet that person from where they're coming. And Jill's got a lot of really natural ways that are just really simple and organic for her to deal with this. It's a joy to listen to, quite honestly. That's why I wrote this topic today. And so you might have to disarm somebody. You might have to explain to somebody or get together with them on the fact that, yeah, they know their property doesn't have any access. And now I know it doesn't have any access. And to what extent do they care to even own it any longer, anymore at all? And so it all comes down to meeting these people from where they're coming. And let's just, you have one goal here, is to get a deal done.
So you're are you tapping into, like, this is part of my career path curriculum? Is that what you're tapping into?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I have a little thing I call it. It's disarm, accept, or get to the bottom of it. Seriously.
Go ahead.
When people are calling you back, it's usually three things. They're mad at you, they're ready to go, or they're on the fence kind of thing. So, and even those ones that are mad at you, you can work with. So mad at you, they got your offer, they're insulted. What's my number one goal? Disarm them, calm them down, and find out if there's a deal there. So, and that's really what I think what you're trying to get at today. Is it?
I honestly didn't even, I know your career path scenario, and it's not what I was getting at, but it's okay. No, this is Joe Friday. So
ask me some questions. What are you trying to extract from me today?
Somebody calls you back on a mailer that we sent out.
Okay.
And you're on the phone with them, you're on NeighborScoop, and you find out the property is slopey with questionable access. And they're kind of ready to close the deal with you. They're ready to start down the path of completing the deal. But you realize you can't pay that much. Yeah. The vast majority of people that I've ever seen in the real estate business just say, no, okay, that's it. Thanks. I don't want that property.
Not for $18,167.42.
So what would you do?
Well, can I really use it? First, I'm going to find out, can I really use it? Is it really something that I want? Because there are times that there are properties that I don't want at any price. And usually it's a fatal flaw. And it might be zero access and everybody's dead. Yeah. There's a good example. There's things I can't fix, kind of thing. And I'm not going to spend 5 years helping someone with probate, and then I'm going to spend another trying to get access or something. Those you just walk away. But maybe it's fixable. Maybe it really is, we've got the access, everybody's alive, slope kind of stinks. It's not that great. It's far away. For what we priced it at would have been great if it was on the water. This one's not. And this one doesn't have this, and this that these other properties do have. Does it make it a bad property? Not necessarily, but not for $18,000 and whatever I rounded off.
Exactly.
Now my offer is $3,000. And that happens. So we lovingly call that trying to kill your own deal. So here's how, if you have this mindset, you'll be great. So I hear where you're going with that. For some person, this is a dead deal. Like, nope, not going to work because that price doesn't work for me. They want to sell it for me. I don't know what to do with it. So I'm just going to walk away. So you could turn this around and still get a deal out of it by, like I said, spending that time figuring out, is there really a use for this property? Yeah. But the use of this property is now not $18,000. If I buy it for $3,000, because I think I can sell it for $9,000, there's no way I can sell it for $30,000. But I can sell something like this for $9,000 all day long. So I've got to buy it for $3,000. That's the number that makes sense. So, and then in my head, the $3,000 number to me is they're either going to say yes or they're going to say no. I have to be ready with either way and ready to walk away. Like I'm trying to kill the deal. Because if $3,000 for me is now so low that I know I can't fail. If they say yes to $3,000, well, I have to buy it. I know I can fail. I might be able to get more for it, but I'm really not sure. So I come at it like that. I say, here's the deal. I realize you love that offer, and I understand that. I thought the property had this, 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 and this. And as we all know, it doesn't have those things. So I don't mean to offend you. I'm not trying to insult you in any way, but the best I can do is $3,000. If that works for you, great. I will get this ball rolling today and I'll get you your money. We could do it next week, whatever makes sense.
What percentage of the time does that work?
More than 50.
That's what I think too. Uh-huh. It's shocking how often it works. Mm-hmm. You just got to make sure you want the property at that price. You can't go back after that.
Exactly. You got to follow through. You don't want to be that guy. So I make sure that it's a number that I really am, if they say yes, I'm doing it. And I might be wrong, but for $3,000, I'll take the gamble. I think I know what's going to happen. So, and then I tell them, and then I throw that out. This is exact, Sandy wanted to know some like tips and scripts and things. I throw it out there and then sit for a second and see what they say. Give them a minute. If too much time passes, usually somebody's going to have to break the silence, and you want it to be them to break the silence. And it's often is that the best you can do? Or I need to talk to my wife, or I need to sleep on it, or no. There's all of these, or yes. Those are probably the 5 common responses you're going to get. And I'm happy with all of them. And even if they say no, then I say, all right, I totally get that. Would you just at least hang on to my letter in case anything changes? Let me know. I will honor that for 30 days, whatever, makes sense to you. I've got money I can set aside for that. In case you change your mind, just let me know. And otherwise, I wish you all the best. So I always want to leave that door open, and you would even then be surprised how many people will come back and go, all right, I slept on it. Because even if they say no right now, because they really had some number in their head, it was probably 20, maybe it was 15. They were loving your 18 offer and they thought they would take 10. And now you're telling them 3. But they have to go back and think about it, sleep on it, talk to people as I would and say, hey, I'm stuck with this property. This person's offering me 3 and everybody else is saying, I don't want it. I don't want it. They're going to probably come back to you and go, all right, I'll take your 3. What's the next step?
Excellent advice. I'll tell you a story. I went out to look at 5 pieces of property on one of the most recent mailers. We were fortunate enough that some of them that came back were reasonably close to us within a day's drive. And I went out to look at the properties, and as they were happening, I called Jill and said, "This one's great. The purchase price is great. Let's buy it." She said, "Okay." A couple hours later, I'd call her and say, "This property has physical and legal access, but for how we're going to use it, I don't want it at all." She said, "Okay, I'll get back to you." And she called me back and said, "Will you take $5,000? Will you?" Mm-hmm. She brokered me. I was a broker now. And she was talking to the seller, hang up the phone, call me. And so we ended up buying a property that I priced at about $50,000 to $60,000 way wholesale for $5,000. Mm-hmm. And then we're splitting it. We're going to make a ton of money on it now. So she kept that, even with me, turned a dead deal. Did a property that I did not want with all the experience that I have to complete, and she wouldn't let it die.
Yeah, I called the seller because they were standing by waiting. And I said, look, and I really was trying to kill the deal. I mean, I didn't even want it. I said, look, here's the deal.
I didn't want it either after seeing it.
I'm very sorry. My partner is out there looking at it right now. Unfortunately, it's not going to work for us. So I just want to let you know we're going to pass. And I would thank you, and I wish you all the best. And he was like, hold on. I'm like, okay. I mean, I wasn't even trying to do this. So don't be that guy too, by the way. Don't use this as a game.
Yeah, this shouldn't be your business
I want to
model.
make sure that you're in good faith acting like this. And I'm like, well, yeah. They're like, what would you give me for it? I'm like, oh, let me find out, kind of thing. And then I called you and you're like 5. And I called them and I said 5. And they said, done.
I think they came back at like 7, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It was a tiny,
it was
an insignificant amount, it was a feel-good amount, just to have them feel like they got something.
I'm like, I had to call him and say, okay, Jack, is there any number? The guy wants to get rid of it. He gets it. I mean, are you sure you want me to let this go? Because he's now saying, what will we give him? And you give me, I love it at 5. I could do it at 9, and that's about it. I'm like, okay. So I call him back, and my job now is to get it as close to 5 as I can. So, and I think it was right around, but we had escrow costs and things.
So here's a big takeaway from this whole episode. Mm-hmm. These deals are not ever really dead until you kill them. Yeah. Not other people. Don't let the sellers kill a deal.
Yeah. You
decide once there's this final number, whether or not you're going to do the deal. And it will shock you. The percentage, the amount of times as a percentage, the deals that are coming back, that isn't their final number at all.
Yeah.
It's just how you handle it.
Jack is so right. When those calls come in, your number one job is to get to the bottom of the number, whatever the number is. Does your number work? Great. Now I'm going to move forward and see if that still works for me.
Yeah.
My number doesn't work. What's your number? Great. I'm going to get to the bottom and see what works for me. You don't have a number because you're really going to die there. Okay, great. We got to the bottom of that, and I wish you all the best. That's it. That's awesome. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Join us next week for another interesting episode, because you are not alone in your real estate ambition.
That was good. Good topic.
We're trying to talk a little bit less about data and pricing and a little bit more about the massive success that Jill and I have because of what Jill does, not because of the data part of this.
Well, that's
And
very...
it's Jill Friday.
Thank you. Very nice of you and true. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you find our content valuable, and we do appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please zip on over to our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, and comment on the shows that you love.
We are Steve and Jill. Information
And inspiration.
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you find our content valuable, and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.